Bran Stark, the kid who tells everyone throughout season 7 and 8 that he cannot be a lord of anything because he's the three-eyed raven now, is okay with becoming a king. And most people think Bran is this good guy who is the best choice to lead Westeros into a better future. Bran, who claims he's this powerful three-eyed raven who can see everything, who can warg into others and who can travel throughout the time, does nothing throughout season 8? But what if I tell you Bran is the ultimate villain of Game of Thrones? The ultimate evil who used his abilities to orchestrate the entire season 8. Made Dany go mad, allowed King's Landing and its 1 million people to burn alive, also he, the three-eyed raven, could end up on the throne. Season 8 episode 6 made it clear that Bran knew everything that would happen, but did not do anything to change it or prevent it. When Tyrion asks Bran if he would accept to be their king, Bran replies with, "Why do you think I came all the way here?" Later in the episode, when Jon Snow says farewell to his family, Jon apologizes to Bran for not being there for him when he needed him, on which Bran replied with, "You were exactly where you were supposed to be." Jon, Tyrion, Dany and the rest of the characters were all chess pieces to him, that he used to get what he wants, the throne. Bran could have told Dany not to go to Dragonstone back in episode 4, and warned her that Euron is there waiting for her, but he chose not to tell her. Why? Because he knew Dany was going to lose another child, Rhaegal, and closest friend Missandei, and all of that matched with his plan. Bran knew everything, but chose to tell only as much as it benefits his ultimate goal. He manipulated things to turn exactly how we saw it in season 8. Bran is the reason Dany went Mad Queen, and he's the reason Dany died. This was confirmed when Bran told to Jon, "You were exactly where you were supposed to be," which is sad to me because Dany definitely did not deserve any of this. If not for Dany, all these Starks, including Jon as well, would not be alive at this point. If Dany was not so good-hearted, and if she was this Mad Queen all along, she would not go north and help the Starks defend their ancestral home and kingdom. But she did. She helped them and saved them. She lost big portion of her armies and friends in the process. And what did she get in return? The Starks forming an ultimate plan how to make her mad, get her killed and win the Game of Thrones. Bran Stark is the ultimate villain. Littlefinger and Varys were right when they said knowledge is power, and the one with most knowledge, Bran, wins. Bran knows everything that's happened, everything that's happening and everything that will happen. Bran, the good honorable Stark, died in that cave and became the three-eyed raven. When Benjen comes in out of nowhere and rescues Bran and Mira, Mira asks Benjen why did he rescue them. He answered because the three-eyed raven requested him. When Mira counters that with saying that the three-eyed raven just died, Benjen answered he lives again, confirming that Bran is the three-eyed raven, which Bran confirmed himself over and over again in seasons 7 and 8. Why is this important to highlight? Well, because every three-eyed raven that ever existed, and the current three-eyed raven as well, Bran, has the ability of green sight, which gives you power to perceive the past, present and future through visions and time travel with ease. Bran already had great power and could see future before even becoming the three-eyed raven, of course not as clearly as he could later on, but still he had that power. Remember back in season 2, Bran had strange dreams that he would talk about with Osha. This time he reveals a dream about the sea flooding Winterfell and drowning Winterfell and its people, even going as far to highlight Sir Rodrik Cassel especially. Indeed, soon after that, Winterfell is attacked by Theon Greyjoy and the Ironborn. Rodrik is captured and beheaded. Osha then tells Bran that his dream came true. The Iron Islands, represented as the sea in the dream, have come to Winterfell with their drowned god to drown it. Someone who also had the ability of green sight was Jojen Reed, and he already knew how to see it clearly. When explaining the green sight to Bran, he tells him that they are visions of past, present and future. We see how clear Jojen can see the future when he brushes off the threats to kill him off Night's Watch traitors while being captured at Craster's Keep, saying he has already seen his death in a vision, and it will not be now, as he sees a vision of his hand on fire. Indeed, he died by fire when they reached the three-eyed raven's cave. Why I'm telling you all of this is just for you to understand that Bran, who grew far more powerful than Jojen, Bran was definitely able to see everything that was going to happen in the future. He's seen it all play out before he did. Bran knew the Night King would come to him and he knew Arya would come and save him. That's why he gave her a Valyrian steel dagger. Bran started seeing glimpses of past and future in season 4, something which Bran drastically improved over the years, especially after becoming the three-eyed raven. Bran saw Drogon flying above King's Landing about to burn it down and even saw aftermath of Drogon and his burning of King's Landing. All of this he saw from his first vision ever, which was a long time ago, when he was not as powerful as he is now years later. This was much before he even became the three-eyed raven. He also saw Wildfire vision before Cersei blew the Septo Baelor. Not only is it safe to say, but this is an actual evidence supporting the fact that Bran knew what would happen to King's Landing before it actually happened, but chose not to change anything, and chose 1 million people to die. Also, he could become the king. Everyone from Arya to Jon were just puppets for Bran, and he used them to orchestrate the end we've got. Bran orchestrated the deaths of the Night King as well as of Dany, and ensured he would end up on the throne. Bran is not Bran Stark anymore. Bran died in that cave. When the old Three-Eyed Raven transferred his own mind to Bran's, he's the Three-Eyed Raven, and his only goal was to end up on the Iron Throne through the power of seeing past, present and future, through orchestrating future events, which he did by carefully choosing what to say and what not to say. The Night King was not coming after all humanity. He was coming for the Three-Eyed Raven, which Bran confirmed in Season 8, Episode 3. Bran says he's coming for him because he is World's memory, and the Night King wants to erase World's memory. But I am convinced the Night King was coming for this Three-Eyed Raven, to save the humanity from such a great evil taking over. But he failed. The first future event Bran orchestrated was the fall of the Night King by giving Arya the Valyrian steel dagger, which he knew Arya would later use to kill the Night King in that very same spot. In the Game of Thrones, among the living though, Bran was as useless as he could get. But he actually wasn't. It's the fact that Bran can see the future and manipulate it. Bran's visions prove it, the ending proves it. And Bran confirms it by saying, "Why do you think I came all this way?" to Tyrion when he asks him if he will be their king. But let's imagine Bran cannot see the future and those glimpses of the future that he can see, and what he saw are truly only glimpses, and he cannot use them to tell what's going to happen, which definitely is not because he kind of confirmed he can see and orchestrate the future by giving Arya the Valyrian steel dagger, on the same place that would later be used to kill the Night King, and by telling Tyrion that he knew he would be chosen a king, and by telling Jon that he was exactly where he was supposed to be. David Benioff also said that Bran said thank you to Theon because Bran knew what was going to happen, kind of confirming that Bran has seen everything and knows everything that's going to happen in the future. But for the sake of the argument, let's say that's true. Let's say Bran cannot see and orchestrate the future. It still doesn't change the fact that he could have prevented the burning of King's Landing. Bran said it himself that he can see everything that's happened and everything that is happening. So why didn't he warg into Dany or Drogon and stop that madness, and prevent 1 million people from dying? Or why didn't he warn Dany that Euron is waiting for her at Dragonstone, preventing him from killing Dany's dragon and best friend? He was there at the War Council just before she went to Dragonstone. Oh yes, I forgot, it all had to happen. It was in fact orchestrated by Bran so he could get the throne. Bran has been manipulating events throughout the entire Season 8 that would get him to this point. Bran is the final villain of the story. Bran manipulated Sam into telling Jon the truth, specifically after Dany had just told Sam she'd burned his father and brother alive. Bran did this on purpose, knowing Sam would not only reveal to Jon the truth, but also to tell Jon that she is not the best choice for the people of Westeros. But more importantly, Bran knew Jon would not continue his relationship with Dany after finding out the truth, and Dany would become more paranoid after learning Jon has the best claim to the throne. And let's face it, that's the only reason Jon found out the truth about his parents Rhaegar and Lyanna, only so Jon would end his relationship with Dany, and would not give Dany affection she needed after losing her children, her armies and her advisors. The only thing it would give Dany is paranoia. Bran also knew that Jon was going to tell the truth to his family, Arya and Sansa, and Bran knew Sansa did not like Dany and she's Littlefinger's student. He knew Sansa would start scheming to overthrow Dany by using Jon's claim, and he knew that this way the truth behind Jon's true parentage and claim would spread. Bran tells to Sam to tell the truth to Jon, Jon tells the truth to his family, Sansa tells it to Tyrion, Tyrion tells it to Varys, and Varys informs all the 7 kingdoms. The truth spreads. Dany's own advisors start plotting behind her back, which makes Dany grow more and more paranoid. Bran intentionally doesn't warn Dany how Euron is waiting for her at Dragonstone, even though he can see everything, which leads to Dany losing Rhaegal and Missandei, all of this making Dany more frustrated, and ultimately turning her mad, which leads to her burning the entire city and all the innocent. Jon is then left with no choice but to kill her, and Jon himself must be punished for this. Also that scene where Jaime asks Bran why didn't he tell everyone else what he did to him, on which Bran replies, "You would not be able to help us in this fight if I let them murder you first." Jaime did not do anything of great importance in the battle for Winterfell. He did not have any role in killing the Night King. He did not kill any White Walkers, which would reduce the Night King's army during the battle. All he did was fighting whites, like everyone else in the living army. So he did not help at all during this fight, at least not more than any other soldier. However, he did something significant in the other fight, the fight for King's Landing, when he rang the hell bells that for some reason made Dany go crazy. So that must have been the hell Bran saw Jaime would provide in the future. also seemingly seeing that after this he would be killed by bricks.
What about afterwards?
How do you know there is an afterwards?
All the events Bran manipulated led to the outcome he's been working on this entire season. Bran Stark becomes the king. Bran, the one with the most knowledge and thus the most power, wins the Game of Thrones. He was behind everything that happened in Season 8. Not so bad of an ending after all, if it was well written. And if Bran had any other line, then I don't want anything really. I can't be the Lord of Winterfell, I'm the Three-Eyed Raven now. And if the execution was not so terrible, and if only they did not make Dany go from the ultimate savior to the ultimate Mad Queen in the span of one episode. In fact, it's how George R. R. Martin's books will end as well, as they said multiple times that the ending will be the same, but the journey to get there will be quite different. And the journey is exactly what was so disappointing here. In the books we already have clues that Bran the Three-Eyed Raven is evil. One of the visions Melisandre sees in the flames is about a wooden-faced corpse wight, with 1,000 red eyes accompanied by a boy with a wolf's face, and Melisandre wonders if this is the enemy. Her vision is obviously about the old Three-Eyed Raven teaching Bran how to become him, and she seems to think they are the real enemy. Anyways, Dany going mad, Bran becoming the king, and everything else could have been written so that all of this would make sense. More importantly, it should not have been rushed. There should have been more episodes and more seasons to wrap it all up nicely. Even HBO knew it and offered Dan and David unlimited budget to do 10 seasons, which they refused. Instead, we got a rushed and poorly written season where the ending is nowhere near bittersweet, only bitter. Bran did learn how to see things better. And what did he choose to do with the information? He chose to sit in his wheelchair, sacrifice everyone else, orchestrate things and events to lead him and his family into ultimate victory in the Game of Thrones. They chose an evil man to be their king, a guy who manipulated the entire plot just to be a king. Why do you think I came all this way disgusts me? It disgusts me that he knew it all along. What a great king Westeros has right now, a king that did not care to stop Dany from burning down King's Landing and killing 1 million people. Bran manipulated the events to make Dany mad so Jon would be forced to kill her. This way Dany is obviously dead, and cannot be the queen while Jon takes the black for killing her, which makes him no longer a legitimate heir to the throne. Only after this, Bran decided to reveal that he knew and saw all this play out already, as he orchestrated it all by telling some little, but more importantly not telling more. Bran basically used his all-seeing ability of past, present and future to help only him and his family, not including Jon Snow because as he said himself he does not see Jon as his brother, ensuring his family comes at the top at the end, instead of using it all for the benefit of others to save others. If you ask me, that makes Bran Stark the ultimate villain of Game of Thrones. No human rules the Six Kingdoms. The Three-Eyed Raven does. The final episode of Game of Thrones and Bran's two responses, firstly to Tyrion when asked if he would like to be their king, why do you think I came all this way, and second to Jon when Jon apologized for not being there for him, you were exactly where you were supposed to be, proved he saw everything and orchestrated everything. He's the reason King's Landing burned down, he's the reason Dany lost everything and turned mad. Also, Jon would have to kill her, eliminating them both from the Iron Throne and taking it for himself. Bran Stark, the Three-Eyed Raven, is the ultimate villain of Game of Thrones.